everyone, my name is Kelly, a virtual specialist here at your VA, and today we are talking with Tam, who's one of our virtual business managers. Tam, do you want to start off by introducing yourself, letting us know where you're from, when you started with your VA, and what your area of expertise is?
Yeah, so I started with your VA, I think back in October 2022, somewhere around there. So almost coming up to a year, which is exciting. I'm originally from Cape Town, South Africa. So
Awesome.
baby. And here I am. I found a Kiwi partner and he brought me across, which is how I ended up in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your area of expertise?
So I really enjoy working alongside entrepreneurs who want to scale up. I've come from a background of 5-star hospitality management for over a decade, as well as helicopter operations. So managing and leading is very much my forte and it comes naturally to me. I'm never going to be the entrepreneur, but I'm very good in the right-hand position.
Yeah, awesome. That's so good. And so what part of New Zealand are you in now?
Currently in Taranaki, but we move around quite a bit because my partner's a helicopter pilot, so it's a lot of seasonal work. Yeah.
Does that mean you get to go on the helicopters often?
Very spoiled.
Amazing. And so what would your day-to-day working life be like? Because, do you do like 9 to 5, or do you kind of do a bit here and there, or what does that look like?
I aim for a 9 to 5 every day. My capacity is pretty full at the moment, and I love a good time block. So I start out with good intentions, but I do have a very needy SPCA rescue dog who requires lots of walking. So I get a little nose boop whenever I need to take a break, which is really good. But, yeah.
That's so good. I actually recently, someone introduced time blocking to me because I was getting in this habit of like having so many open projects and then doing 10 minutes on that and then freaking out that I'd forgotten something, so I'd move to another one. So I started doing time blocking on my Google Calendar, and it's like makes me so much more productive.
And it looks nice. Oh, I love it.
So what is some of your current clients, and what kind of work do you do for them? You don't have to say all of them, but just maybe pick, one.
No. So I'm very much a Jill of all trades. I always introduce myself as that. So I'm primarily in the VBM space now, but really enjoy the VA side of things. So just the usual calendar and inbox management, everything that goes along with that. Few of my clients are cyber smarties, utter work and flow, recently content cartel, and then it's just a real myriad of different businesses. Not one is the same. But I with my VBM clients, it's very much strategic thinking and planning and putting processes into place, looking at the big picture, and scaling up, which is always a lot of fun for me.
Awesome. I'm always really interested when I've talked to virtual business managers like yourself, because it's just something that it's just not my area of expertise at all. So it's really interesting to me to learn what you guys do. So what's one piece of advice that you would give to businesses who might be watching this within your area of expertise? So just one thing that they could do, today.
Yeah. I always say identify and then delegate what you don't want to do to someone like myself, because then you can actually start to work on the business instead of in the business. And once you can flip that switch in your mind, everything starts to change.
Okay. So do you have come across a lot of business owners who are trying to wear like all of the hats? And do you find that once they delegate, one or two things or however much to yourself, that they then are way more productive in other areas of their business? Or
yeah, absolutely. And I've seen it enough times now that I know it's a proven formula. Especially solo entrepreneurs who want to scale, they're doing everything and they really struggle to let go of the control in the beginning. But once they can, they suddenly are in their area of expertise, which is 30,000 feet thinking, big ideas, big relationships. And someone like myself does all the rest of it. And you just see them start to flourish. They're less stressed. Everyone's happy. Business is growing. It's a magical time.
And I'm going a bit off script here because I just have so many questions. So what kind of task do you find easiest to delegate? So say if you've got a business owner who's typically wanting to grow and wearing all of the hats. They're doing, you know, all their admin, they're doing all their staff management, they're doing all the marketing. What kind of tasks do you think are like the easiest to kind of delegate away? Is there one that you see more regularly?
Yeah, I mean, the obvious answer to me is always the calendar and inbox management, because everyone wants to manage their own calendar with meetings and calls, and it gets messy.
Yeah.
So hand that over first of all. And then I always find, if you say, what are your like 5 big things that you want to achieve in this year? And it's normally big projects. Give it to me, and then I break it down into manageable steps.
Yeah.
And that's normally, once they get that out of their head, then everything's suddenly better. It's really strange. It's that telltale old thing, you know, talk about it and it's better.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just the communications, I think, are the big one, which again falls back to the inbox and the calendar management. So and then being able to take a high level thinker that can get your ideas out of your head and then make them come to fruition.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome and so interesting.
It sounds a bit vague, but it works.
Yeah. And it must be scary for business owners, you know, when they've kind of started their business and it's their baby, to actually delegate and trust somebody else like that. I can imagine that would be quite stressful to be able to hand over and just trust somebody else with the business as well.
Absolutely. And it doesn't happen overnight. You know, it takes a good few weeks or months for business owners and entrepreneurs to fully feel like they can let go.
Yeah.
And you see it happen, you know, but it's just, you got to hold each other's hands through the process.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. So you kind of I merged 2 questions together, but if there's somebody watching this now, and say they're really short on time, what's one thing that they could do today, even if it's really a small thing, that would give them a quick win? Like, is it, you know, downloading an app that you recommend, or is it some sort of planning, or what would you recommend that they could do today just to
I'd recommend getting a VA or a VBM, but that sounds like I'm pitching. Yeah, I definitely revert back to my previous answer. I think in the grand scheme of things, they just need to get somebody that they trust, like right in their pocket, and just let go a little bit and have fun again.
I honestly think that would be my hardest thing, would be actually letting go and being like, okay, I'm not the captain of that ship anymore.
It's my hardest thing, you know. If I have to delegate tasks out, I also struggle because I want to do it all myself. So I realize that it's difficult for entrepreneurs if it's their whole business.
And so what do you love most about working with your VA?
So many things. I had to think about that, because it's just a really enjoyable environment, which is very rare considering it's all online and virtual. And when a company normally says that they have an open door policy, it's normally not the case. Your VA has never said that, but it is the case, which is really exciting. So, you know, Justine, she never says no, she never doesn't have time. And that applies to the whole leadership team and probably the entire team of VAs and VBMs. And because there's no such thing as no, it's always like a community-minded problem-solving when you need it. So you always feel really supported, because we all know it can be quite isolating and lonely working on your own at home.
Yeah. Isn't it funny how when you work in an office, sometimes working virtually with someone like your VA can actually feel more like you're more connected with your team members, even though you've never actually met most of them, you know what I mean? It's
absolutely. I found that with a few of the team, like they're just someone that I'll think of that I want to go to first for something, and I've never met this person in real life. No, it's really great.
It's crazy. And so what were you doing before your VA in October? Did you shift were you doing virtual work before then as well, or did you kind of come from an office to?
Yeah, so I was in Botswana before. It's a bit of a long story, but I was in Botswana when I was doing the helicopter operations, and that's when COVID happened. So I stuck around for the first year of COVID, because we were really busy still on the front line, and then decided I'd head back home to South Africa, and that's when I ended up in the virtual space. So I worked for a similar agency in South Africa, and then my partner and I decided to come down this side. And
that's such a big move as well.
Very big move, but it's great doing what I do, because it allows me the opportunity to work from anywhere and do this kind of
Yes.
stuff, which is what I enjoy. So
Awesome. Thank you so much.
cool. Thanks, Kelly.